Imagine this. You're sitting in a tent that smells like foot sweat and shattered dreams, cold, in Afghanistan, looking through bank statements. And make the realization that you are paying as much interest or nearly as much interest on your current truck loan as you could have bought the truck you had before and loved in cash. That's exactly where I was in 2011. And it was a big shift for me in the way I thought about money. And it caused me to dig in and research and read, and has ultimately led to me kind of figuring out this money stuff, kind of like my passion project, and what I'm going to be doing and have been doing to help people with their own finances. But I want to back up just a little bit and let's just talk about, like, how did I get there in the first place? So I joined the Army right at 18, and I wasn't dumb. I wasn't, stupid or anything like that. And nobody that joins the military is. And so you have to, have at least some intelligence to join the military. And so it wasn't that I didn't have the ability to know about money. It was just because I didn't understand myself, and I didn't understand how I interacted with money and how that could lead to problems. One of the things about me is I have a very can-do attitude. Like, that's really helpful in the military, and I think that that's actually even more strong now after being in the military, because you are given stuff that seems impossible sometimes, or you at least don't have all the resources to do it, and then you're told, hey, figure it out. And you have to, like, there's no other option. The boss said we need to do X, Y, and Z, and so you figure it out. Now, sometimes that's tactically acquiring things, but a lot of times it's just figuring out creative solutions to things that we're trying to do. Now, so I say all that to say that I applied the same type of mentality to money. I would spend because I needed money now, and sometimes that was debt. I was spending using debt, and I'll figure it out later. I always figure it out. That's what I do. And so that works for a while until eventually you get to a point where you can't do that anymore. I still remember going and putting rent on a credit card, and that didn't feel great. I left for Iraq, my first deployment, with I think about 6 credit cards maxed. I had a cheap loan. It just, and then I paid all of it off while I was on deployment. So at least I knew, like, okay, yeah, you got to pay this stuff down. But then immediately, as soon as I got back from Iraq, got right back into debt. Got a brand new phone, got a brand new, at the time, PlayStation 3, brand new flat screen TV. All the things. Like, I literally got back, went to Best Buy, loaded up on, tech gear, like all that kind of stuff, and like was sleeping in a sleeping bag and playing, my brand new PlayStation 3 on, on flat screen TV. So yeah, real high roller. But anyway, that's just the way that I did things. I didn't stop to think about, hey, there's a different way to do this. You can actually save up for these things and earn interest as you're saving, and all these different things. And so that was a huge shift, and something that I wish I could go back and tell myself, my 18-year-old self, 19-year-old self, like, hey, if you just pause and wait for just a little bit, you can save up for those things, and then you won't be stealing money from future you, because that's really what it is you are taking money from your future self and pulling it into the present and paying a fee to do that. So basically, you're paying a time travel, a time travel fee for your money to be brought into the future for you to use right now, and then you pay on that. And another concept that I came up with that I think is really important to think about is we kind of sell ourselves on, well, I can make more money with this, or I can use this as leverage, whatever the case may be. And sometimes that could be true. But one thing I will say is debt is definite and gains are not guaranteed. And what I mean by that is that when you sign for debt, when you take on debt, you are contractually, legally obligated to pay it back at that specific level, at whatever the agreement is. Whereas if you're going to try and invest your way out of debt or something like that, you cannot guarantee that you're going to get those gains. And you can't even guarantee your income a lot of times. Now, military, your income's pretty much guaranteed, but it's also guaranteed not to go up very fast. You might be able to get a promotion, you get an annual pay raise, whatever, but it's pretty much guaranteed not to grow either. So that's something that I think a lot of people discount as well. So you can't just really easily dial up the money machine. And even people that say, oh, well, you can take on a part-time job or whatever, technically you need to have that approved by command, joint ethics regulations, all that kind of stuff. And you have to have time to do that. I know at least most of my career, I haven't had a ton of extra time. And so having an actual job or something like that takes away from something else, usually family time or personal time. Most of the time, I've sacrificed my own personal time to go to college and build a business and those kinds of things, which have paid off, but it is a bit of a sacrifice. So why am I even telling anybody this? You need to understand how you interact with money so that you can understand how to build systems and processes that will make you successful with money. People that are naturally savers may not need a whole lot of encouragement to save money and invest. People that are natural spenders like me, I have to create some very specific guardrails and systems around what I'm doing. Otherwise, I will overspend. And even to this day, it's not something that like just magically went away because I got educated. Education itself doesn't necessarily change the behavior. And so those are things that I have to kind of work around and teach myself over time. So my checking account, like everything that is in there, I can spend it down to zero each month and I'll be fine. Why? Because I built systems so that everything that I need to have paid automatically comes out. Everything that I need to invest automatically comes out. Everything I need to save automatically comes out. And so I really made it to where I can't personally screw it up. Now, there are ways that I can still screw it up by spending on credit cards or taking out loans or things like that. I don't take out loans anymore. I just don't do it. Not that I would never. We'll probably take out a loan for a house at some point in time, just because you would end up trying to save forever in order to actually be able to buy a house. And so I don't want to wait forever to do that. So I am willing to pay that fee to bring money into the present. I say all of this to say that it is really important for you to understand how you interact with money so you can build systems and processes around how you interact with money. One of the tools that I like to use is the Klontz Money Script Inventory Revised, or KMSI-R. Fancy terms, whatever, but it's a really easy quiz that you can take. It's free, and you can kind of figure out like what are my predisposed feelings and attitudes toward money. And it is helpful to know, like, okay, these are, things about me. Now, there are kind of more basic ways to categorize people. Like, so there are broader categories such as, like, I typically stick with, okay, are you a saver or are you a spender? Now, technically, you could say some people are, investors. They look at how to actually take their money to make more money. But really, broad categories, people are typically a little more prone to save versus some are a little more prone to spend. Most people that are financial coaches or financial planners typically fall into that financial like saver category. I'm a little bit of an oddball. Like I'm definitely a spender, like no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I'm a spender, I am an investor, but I'm not really risky with my investments. And so I think it's really important to kind of understand who you are as far as how you interact with money. And so you want to have a healthy relationship with money. And if you go too far to the saver side or too far to the spender side, that can be very unhealthy. And so we don't want that. We want to have a healthy relationship with money because money really is just a tool. It's something that we use. It basically, the way I think about it is it's life, like energy that we have converted into this thing that we jointly call money. that then we can trade for other goods and services. And so you had to take a bit of your life and convert it into this money. And so I like to think of it as like, okay, I'm literally spending a piece of my life to get X, Y, and Z, or I am committing future parts of my life, like if you're talking about debt, I'm committing future parts of my life to this purchase. And so I think having that realization and being able to look at it like that is really, really helpful, or at least it is for me. Just to recap, some of the things that I would like you to take away from this video is, one, the way that we feel and think and interact with money is just as important as knowing all the tools and resources that are out there. Because if you know all the tools and resources, you can know all the technical details, but if it is not put into context of who you are in the context of money, it doesn't matter. You can't like force your way out of bad habits because you don't understand the habits. Two, you need to understand what type of person you are with money, because then that will inform what types of systems and processes you need to put in place to make sure that you are either spending at a healthy level and not depriving yourself, because you work hard. So you should have some enjoyment, and you should be able to take some of that life energy that is now converted into money and use it to make your life better. Like, I think that's kind of the whole purpose of having a job, doing any of this stuff. Like, if you can't enjoy a little bit of the freedom that you have sacrificed your, a lot of your freedom and a lot of your time by joining the military, then that's kind of sucky. So I want you to be able to enjoy some of the freedom that you've been fighting for and some of the freedom that you've been serving for. And I mean, really, I would love for you to be able to enjoy more of your freedoms than maybe your average person that hasn't taken that oath and hasn't put that, put that commitment to our great nation. But that's neither here nor there. You entered into a contract, so it is what it is. And then the final thing is, don't take things too seriously. It's one of those where we get wrapped up around, well, if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to screw it all up. Or if I don't do this, then I'm going to screw it all up. Or I've already screwed it all up. And no matter where you are with money, we can figure it out. Everything is something that we can figure out. But once again, be careful about, hey, I'll just figure it out, because that can lead to a place where you, like me, end up somewhere you don't really want to be when it comes to your finances. And I don't want that either. So overall, balance life with how you naturally interact with money will end up much better than if you just try and force things or ignore things. I hope this was helpful. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love for you to do so. And if you are somebody that likes to get a newsletter or read some different thoughts, or get some personal stories and things from me, I have a newsletter that I send out twice a month on the 1st and the 15th to coincide with payday. So check that out. Check out some of my other videos, and let me know in the comments, how are you with money? Do you save money naturally, or do you spend money naturally? Something else? Let me know, and let me know what you might be interested in hearing about next.